The plan for today's video was to show you how to completely remove all AI features from Windows 11. And I thought this was going to be a pretty easy video. Unfortunately though, every guide that I found to achieve this simply doesn't work anymore. It may not have ever worked. So I had to create my own process, and it isn't pretty, but it should achieve the goal. Stay tuned. Now, when I thought of this video idea, I had found several guides online showing how to disable Windows AI. So it should have been a fairly straightforward video. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and nothing worked the way it was supposed to. It's like every guide to disable Windows AI is a placebo to make you think it's disabled while nothing has actually changed at all. It may be because these guides are outdated, or maybe they never worked in the first place. But either way, by the end of this video, this Windows 11 install should be completely free of Windows AI. But first, I gotta pay some bills, so check out today's sponsor. Are you still running Windows 11 unactivated because the license just costs too much? Then you should check out today's sponsor, VIP-SCDKey, where you can get a valid Windows 11 license for around $20. Stop dealing with that stupid watermark and actually be able to change your desktop background with a valid license for Windows 11. Just go to the link in the description below and pick up a valid Windows 11 license key. During checkout, use the code CyberCPU for a 25% discount. Once you have your key, go to your activation settings in Windows 11 and click the link that says Change Product Key. Enter the product key you just purchased and hit Activate. Now you don't have to deal with that stupid watermark. And check out the description for deals on not just Windows, but Office too. Now, on with the video. So, AI is part of modern life, and at this point, it's not gonna go back. AI is going to continue to evolve and continue to take over our technology. The time to tap the brakes on AI is long over. In fact, I heard a headline the other day that up to 30% of code written by Microsoft is generated by AI. That doesn't mean 30% of the Windows source code, but rather 30% of the code currently written for all Microsoft products currently has been generated by AI. So, not only has AI been integrated into Windows, but AI is writing the code that makes up Windows, at least a portion of it. So, does this mean that AI is writing new forms of AI? Yeah, I'm sure nothing will go wrong there. We have nothing at all to be worried about. Just relax, everyone. But for those of us who would just like an operating system that allows us to use our hardware and not give Skynet access to it, hopefully this guide is for you. So the first thing we need to remove is Copilot. There used to be a registry entry that would disable Copilot, but that was back when Copilot was a sidebar on the right-hand side of the screen. Unfortunately, that registry entry simply doesn't work anymore. However, the reason why the registry entry no longer works is because Copilot is no longer an integrated part of Windows. It's just an app now. And as an app, we can simply remove it. In fact, it's a web app that uses Microsoft Edge to function. So this is one of those instances where Microsoft's arrogance in forcing people to use Edge, even if it's not their default browser, actually kind of plays off in our favor. So since Copilot is a web app and Microsoft has tied Edge to it, we can just cripple Copilot by eliminating Edge. And since our goal is to remove AI from Windows 11, we have to get rid of Edge anyway because of its AI integration. So this kind of kills two birds with one stone. So let's jump on the system and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so here we are in a relatively stock install of Windows 11. And like I said, the first thing we need to do is uninstall Edge. And to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and download Revo Uninstaller. Now, I showed you how to do this on a video a couple weeks ago, and it works pretty well. But this isn't the only thing we're doing. We're gonna go through all the different AI implementations within Windows 11. We're just starting with Edge and Copilot. So the first thing you wanna do is go down to the downloads link on Revo Uninstaller's website. And I typically don't download just the regular program. I actually download the portable version of Revo Uninstaller. And to download it, just click the free download button and it should start downloading for you. And then once it's downloaded, you can open it up inside of your downloads folder. So I'm going to go ahead and extract this right here. It's going to take a second, and then once it's extracted, we can go ahead and close these right here. And then to run it, you just go ahead and click on this link right here. It'll ask you for the administrator permissions, and it'll fire up. And at this point, what we're looking at is Microsoft Edge. And all you got to do is click on it and click uninstall. Now, it's going to warn you that the Windows Edge is a feature of Windows and some software may not work properly. Well, that's kind of our goal. We don't want some software to work properly. So we're going to go ahead and do that. You can make a system restore point if you want and hit continue. And then at this point, there isn't a default uninstaller for Edge. So it should just jump right into the Revo uninstaller, which essentially goes through and it searches for files and registry entries for different versions of software. We're just going to go ahead and leave it on moderate and hit scan. And it's going to go ahead and scan for all the files and registry entries that are associated with Microsoft Edge. Now it's going to take a minute for it to do this. So go ahead and let it finish. And once it's done, go ahead and hit select all. And these are for the registry entries here. So we're going to select all and then hit delete. And this will go through and delete all the registry entries for Microsoft Edge. And then the next step is the files themselves. We're going to go ahead and hit select all and delete. Go ahead and hit yes to confirm. Now, it's not going to be able to delete every single file here because some files are currently in use. So what it's going to do is it's going to delete everything that it can, and then it's going to mark what's left for deletion once the computer reboots. So as you can see right here, it says that there are remaining files that will be deleted in the next system restart. And you go ahead and hit OK. And then you can see the list right here of all the files that it can't delete, and it'll get those in the next time. But as of right now, Edge is pretty much crippled, so we can go ahead and hit finish. And at this point, you can go through and uninstall other things if you'd like, but I'm going to go ahead and close this. We can move on to the next step. And I'm going to go ahead and close this too. Now, we still do have Copilot down in our taskbar. And we also have it if we click start and we go to all, and you can see it's inside of the start menu right here. However, we want to get rid of it. To get rid of it is really easy. All you got to do is right click and hit uninstall, and it should uninstall Copilot, and it'll get rid of it on the taskbar as well. Now, since we've uninstalled Edge, we have another problem now too. So if I click the start button, I'm just going to search for CyberCPU. As you can see, we have web results right here for CyberCPU. The problem is if we click on them, it won't work because we no longer have Microsoft Edge. So there's one more step that we need to take just to kind of streamline this a little bit. And for that, go ahead and click your start button and type regedit and open up your registry editor. Click yes to the user account control. And then from here, we're going to want to go to users, software, and then policies, and then Microsoft, and then Windows. And then from here, we want to go into Explorer. And then from this white area right here on the right-hand side of the registry editor, we want to go ahead and create a new DWORD 32-bit value. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and type in disable search box suggestions, exactly like I have it typed out right here. Now, I went ahead and just pasted it from my clipboard to make it a little bit easier, but just go ahead and copy it from the screen right here. It's disable search box suggestions with the same capitalization that I'm using. And then from here, once you create it, you're going to open it up and you're going to change this value to 1 and hit OK. And then at that point, we can go ahead and close the registry editor. And then from here, there's one more change that we need to make also, because as you know, the widgets panel does exactly the same thing. It opens all of its links in Edge, even if Edge is not your default browser. So the best way to take care of that is just to go ahead and click on your taskbar settings and turn the widgets off. And then once you're done with that, you can go ahead and close it. And then one more thing that we need to do is go ahead and right click, click on your task manager. And then from here, we want to scroll down until we find Explorer. And it should be, usually it's down near the bottom, and then go ahead and click Restart Task. And what this is going to do is restart your File Explorer. And at this point, you should be able to click on your Start menu, type in a search term, and as you'll see, it's just searching the computer now. It's not using Copilot or Edge in any way. So it completely disables any kind of web search from your Start menu, making it so you don't have to worry about getting the error that Edge isn't installed anymore. So now that we have Copilot and Edge removed, it's time to deal with Windows recall. Since I don't have a Copilot plus PC, I have no idea if what I'm about to show you actually works. So if anyone out there has a Copilot plus PC and wouldn't mind testing this for me, it would be much appreciated. Just leave a comment down below and let me know if this works the way it is, or at least works the way it's supposed to. So let's jump back on the system and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so recall should be relatively easy to disable. So all you want to do is go ahead and type in regedit, click yes to the user account control, and it will start off with where we left off before. But we want to go back a little bit because we're not going to go into current user. We're going to go into local machine here. And from local machine, you want to go into software. And then from software, we want to go down into policies. And then from policies, we want to open Microsoft, then Windows, and then the next section is Windows AI. But as you can see, we have no Windows AI setting in here. You may have it on your system, but if you don't, what you're going to want to do is just go ahead and right click and hit new key. And then for that new key, you want to name it Windows AI with no spaces and go ahead and hit enter. And then from there, we want to go into this white area. Once you have Windows AI selected, we want to go into the blank area on the right and we want to right click and hit new DWORD 32-bit value. And then the first one is going to be disable AI data analysis. And go ahead and copy what I have right here. It should be exactly like this. Disable AI data analysis, no spaces, and make sure to capitalize each word. And then from there, once you create that, you want to open it up and you want to change the value to 1 and hit OK. And then the next one you're going to want to do, you want to go ahead and right click again, hit new DWORD 32-bit value, and then you want to create the key that says allow recall enablement. Now, this is going to be exactly like I have it typed right here with no spaces and capitalize each word. It should be allow recall enablement. And then from there, once you create it, you want to go ahead and leave this to 0. And what this is going to do is it's not going to allow recall enablement. So it's kind of backwards. And then from here, you can go ahead and close the registry editor, and you're going to want to go ahead and open up control panels. And you should be able to do that just by clicking the start menu and typing control panel. And then go ahead and launch your control panel and go into uninstall a program. And then from there, you want to click this link that says turn Windows features on or off. And it should give you this little screen right here that has all the different features that are built into Windows. And then from here, like I said, I don't have a Copilot plus PC, so I'm not going to have recall listed in here. But if you do, you should have Windows recall as one of the settings from within this area right here. And what you have to do is just go ahead and we're going to pretend like Sandbox is Windows recall. And it should be checked. Just go ahead and uncheck it and then hit OK, and it should uninstall any apps that are associated with Windows recall from your system. And you can close Control Panel now. So now that we've got two major AI components from Windows removed and disabled, it's time to start taking care of some of the more minor AI components within Windows. For this, I'm going to show you how to remove or at least disable the Copilot functionality within Microsoft or Windows apps like Paint and Notepad. I have a couple different options for you in regards to these apps. Let's go ahead and jump on the system and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so this one right here was actually a lot easier, but at the same time, a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. So let's start out with Paint. So we're gonna go ahead and click start here, and I'm gonna type in Paint, and we're gonna launch the Paint app real quick. And as you can see in Paint, yeah, right here, try image creator, yeah, got it. So we have this Copilot button from within the new version of Paint. And if you click on it, you'll notice that we have image creator, generative erase, and remove background. Now these are all AI features from within Windows, and they still function even if Copilot is removed. However, we can disable at least image creator from Paint. Unfortunately, we can't do anything with generative erase and remove background. But let me show you how to disable image creator. To do that, all you do is go ahead and close Paint, and we're gonna go ahead and launch regedit like we did before. Hit yes to the user account control. And then from here, we wanna back up a little bit. So we were at local machine, and then we want to go to software. And then from there, we want to go to Microsoft like we were before. And then from there, we want to go into Windows. We're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom right here into Windows. And then from Windows, we want to go into current version right here. and then we want to go into policies. So go ahead and scroll down right here until you find policies. Now, all of this should be alphabetical. And then from here, we want to scroll down until we find paint. And as you can see, we have no paint here. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to right click, we're going to hit new, we're going to hit key, and then for the key, we're going to type in paint and hit enter. And then we want to go ahead and open up Paint, and we have this blank area right here for where we're going to create the policies now. And then for that, what you want to do is right click, hit new, dword 32-bit value. And then from here, you want to type in disable image creator, no spaces, and capitalize the first letter of every word. And then once you create that, we're going to go ahead and open it, and we're going to change this value to 1. And then once you do that, you can go ahead and close the registry editor. And at that point, it should disable the image creator if the registry value still works. The only problem with that is if you go back down here and you open up Paint, even if it disables image creator, you still have the stupid Copilot button from within Paint. And unfortunately, there's no way to remove it. Well, there's no easy way to remove it, but there is one way to do it. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. By essentially, go ahead and close this right here. We're going to open up our browser and we're going to go to this website. Now, I know it says Windows 7 games for Windows 11 and Windows 10, but what we're interested in is right here, the Classic Paint app. So what we're going to do is we're just going to restore the Classic Paint and say to heck with the new version of Paint that has the Copilot button. So if we scroll down here, we go ahead and all the way down to the bottom of this section right here, you should have this right, it says download Paint. If you click on that, it'll go ahead and download it. And I'm gonna go ahead and open it just like this. Now, before we actually install that though, we're gonna click on Start, we're gonna click on Settings, and then from Settings, we're gonna go to Apps. Because this video is about removing AI, not just replacing it with other apps. We still have to get rid of the AI in the modern Paint. And to do that, we're gonna go into Installed Apps, and then from there, we're gonna search for Paint. And then as you can see Paint right here, we can left click here and click uninstall, and then uninstall the new version of Paint completely. And that'll in turn remove the Copilot button because it removed the whole app. But if we still want Paint, we can go ahead and install the Classic Paint by just running this setup program right here. And this will give us the old school Paint that we used to have back in Windows 7 and Windows 10 days. And it still works just like you would expect it to. And at this point right here, you should have these instructions. However, this doesn't really apply because we uninstalled Paint. However, you do have to push the Open Settings button, go into App Execution Aliases, verify that there is no Paint in here at all, and then go ahead and close it, and then just pretend like you did it and hit Next. And at this point, it should function correctly. And we're gonna hit Next again, and we're gonna hit Install to go ahead and install it. And then I'm gonna uncheck all these right here and hit Finish. And at this point, we should be able to come over to the Classic Paint, open it, and have the old school Paint again like we always remember it. But this isn't the only Windows app that has a Copilot icon. So we're gonna go ahead and close this right here. And then go ahead and click on your Start button and go ahead and open Notepad. And as you can tell, in Notepad, we have a Copilot button. And this is a way to allow you to rewrite and help AI to create text documents, I guess. But we wanna get rid of it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and click on Settings right here. And then we're going to scroll down to Copilot and we're just going to flip it off. And at that point, you should be able to go back. And as you can see, the Copilot button is completely gone. But with that said, you can also go to the same website that we were at before. I'm going to go ahead and launch it again, and we can get the Classic Notepad as well. So if you'd like to have the old school Notepad, you can get it in the same way that we got the Classic Paint app. So here's the thing. I don't use Windows 11 regularly. I'm still on Windows 10 myself. So as far as I know, Paint and Notepad are the two Windows apps that have Copilot integration. I don't think there's any others, but if there are, let me know down in the comments below if I missed anything. I'm not aware of any other apps that do. However, I could be wrong. So like I said, let me know down in the comments if I've missed anything, and maybe we can do a separate video on those. So with that said though, we've just about removed all AI. However, there's still a few things that we still need to do. So let's jump back on the system and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so from here, we can go ahead and close this. Now, the next things I'm gonna show you are maybe nitpicking a little, but this video did say we were gonna remove all AI from Windows 11. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. You can follow whichever steps you want to and whichever steps you don't. Some of these things you may not wanna disable, and if you don't, then don't. But I'm at least going to show you how to do it. So the first one that we're going to do is we want to go down into Windows Security. So we're going to go ahead and launch Windows Security. And then from here, we want to go into App and Browser Control right here. And then from here, we want to go into the Smart App Control settings. And then from there, as you can see, this is turned off. Now, if it's turned off, it can't be turned on without reinstalling Windows, which I think is kind of extreme. However, if you do have it turned on and you turn it off, keep that in mind that once you turn it off, you can't turn it back on again. But the Smart App Control actually uses AI in order to try to determine which apps are legitimate and which apps aren't. So if you want to remove all AI from Windows, it's going to require turning this feature off. Now from this point, we can go ahead and close that once it's off, and we can click on Start, Settings. And then from settings, we want to click on accounts. And then from accounts, we want to go into sign-in options. Now, at this point right here, anything that says Windows Hello uses AI. Now, I don't know if the PIN does. That doesn't seem to make sense. But the fingerprint recognition and the facial recognition both use AI in order to log you into Windows. So if you want to disable AI in Windows, it's going to require you to disable these right here. However, the nice thing about this is I don't believe you can use Windows Hello features without a Microsoft account. And that's going to be another tip that I'm going to give you too, is that if you want to avoid AI in Windows, then definitely don't use a Microsoft account. But now that we've gone through that, we can go ahead and close this. And there's a couple last things that we need to do. If we click on Start, you're going to see a program called Clipchamp. Now, Clipchamp is a video editor that comes built into Windows now. However, it does use AI. So because of that, we're going to go ahead and uninstall it. So you just right-click, click Uninstall, and it should get rid of the app. On top of that, Microsoft 365 Copilot is another one that we're going to want to right-click and hit Uninstall, just like that. So at this point, you should have Windows 11 relatively AI-free, hopefully completely AI-free. There are a few other things to consider though. For one, I would highly recommend not using a Microsoft account because many of these AI features simply don't work if you're using a local account. So by using a local account, you will in turn be disabling many AI features within Windows. Now, the next suggestion that I would make is kind of an unfortunate one, is to use an older version of Office. Unfortunately, the newer versions of Office are integrated with AI. And if you don't want AI running on your system, then your only choice in those situations is to use an older version of Office or an open source alternative to Office. Now, I already know what the comments are going to be to this video, and many people are going to claim that doing this is pointless because Windows Update is just going to re-enable the stuff that you disabled. And you know what? That very well could be true. However, that's not a reason not to do it. Personally, I'm kind of stubborn. I'll keep doing it over and over again until Microsoft stops re-enabling it. However, I did test all of these settings on an older version of 24H2 and then ran Windows Update to see if it would reinstall Microsoft Edge or Copilot and undo some of the things that we did, and it didn't. It used to be a really common back when Windows 11 was first released that every time you ran Windows Update, it would reset a bunch of settings. But Windows Update doesn't really do that anymore. But there's always the possibility that it could happen. And if it does, it might be a good idea to bookmark this video and run through it again every once in a while. And you know, I may actually update it every once in a while when new features come out that we need to disable. But with that said, once you remove all the AI from Windows 11, you also probably want to look at stopping Windows from spying on you too. And for that, check out this video where I go through the whole process of disabling telemetry in Windows 11. And as always, you guys have a great day.